we say in Africa, that's one of the expressions I learned so far in 1 year, being ambassador to Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. All protocol observed. You will pardon me, actually, if I don't mention all the participants to this important webinar. Very quickly, why Rwanda? Rwanda, once again, proves to be actually a country that is aiming as a target a rapid actually and economic growth. And as a broad sense actually of its position in Africa, although being a small reality in comparison to other countries in Eastern Africa. They set national agendas, very ambitious national agendas actually, which have been summoned with this and summarized by this Vision 2020. We are in 2020. They're getting very close to the targets that actually they posed themselves. They were pretty ambitious. They've been participating and they've been acknowledged by very important international forums, the World Economic Forum, and many others. What I can say actually is that they were certainly one of the first countries, if not the first country, to adopt green growth policies and green growth in a sort of harmonized path with economic development. It's not an easy task for an African country. They started very early with a few well-doings in environment. I want to give just a very few highlights about that. I know they will be touched during the webinar, so I don't dedicate them much of the time, but plastic bags, actually, in 2008, no African country was even thinking to ban plastic. They did, not only they did, but actually they've been very successful on this field by banning non-biodegradable plastic bags and recognizing so the impact first on environment of such an important policy decision. Forest cover, this reforestation, it had to be done before 2020, I must say, a sort of reforestation, tree planting drive, which has been covered, not entirely the 30% that was the task, the object, the target for 2020, but very close to the target. Of course, there's been a general slowdown in everything through the last 6 months, unfortunately, for COVID, the COVID pandemic. But forest management is actually one of the fields in which they are distinguishing themselves in Africa. And let's say they have a very disciplined approach to policies, a sort of a Swiss-like approach, which is actually working. It's probably the most disciplined, socially disciplined country in Africa, in the African continent. Restoration, the restoration of degraded ecosystems and wetlands, lakes, and natural forest. That's one of the main drives, the third point actually of these highlights. They've been investing in reforestation. They've been punishing deforestation very straight actually and heavily. As an outcome, the reforestation is there. Again, it's not entirely concluded with the Vision 2020, but they're very close to the targets once again. The Green Fund. The Green Fund is one of probably one of the most, the largest kind of its kind in Africa, and probably an investment fund that represents a unique exercise in African countries, especially because, of course, with the target of reaching a climate resilient economy. So again, harmonizing economic development with the climate change and environment, being a highly affected climate change country, they have raised so far with this investment fund, with the Green Fund, roughly $100 million, which is pretty significant and shows once again also the trust of the international community and international countries in general towards the commitment of Rwanda towards green growth and green policies and economy. Finally, of course, green politics. The parliament has many times legiferated. They passed quite a few laws, very strict laws, very much implemented, and very much, of course, enforced by local authorities, or trying to, again, match the national development plan with sort of the protection of the environment. And they're succeeding. I must say that there's a very balanced approach to the green growth in general, taking into consideration climate change, the effect of climate change on tourism. Tourism remains with $300 million, one of the most important, I wouldn't say actually revenue dimension for the country and for its budget, but certainly the main income of valuable currency, dollars. So this said, they bypassed all technologies. They're trying to modernize in a sort of Swiss-like drive towards a path that ensures this balance between economic development and green growth and green economy. I must say that they're pretty successful. But again, they're not reaching fully the target for 2020. They're on the way. But I strongly believe that a country that has this kind of approach to green growth can ensure the perfect playing field actually also for Italian companies to jump in a country. There's still lots of space, and what they basically need is expertise and technology. And that's what Italy, of course, is with this innovative drive can provide to this country to ensure that in 2050, actually, they will reach their own targets, possibly with the partnership of Italian business and Italian companies. So I think it's more than enough. I don't want to take much more of your time as we are, short of time, so I give back the floor to my friend, Claudia.
Claudia, microphone. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your words.
My deputy ambassador.
I like this. I like this. Thank you very much, Ambassador. I think you really touched the main point. One of the main thing we are always talking here in Rwanda is environment. It's climate change, and the country is very sensitive and is also looked as a model in Africa, but also outside of Africa, outside of this continent, for his policy for in climate change and environment. I think that also our friend, Deputy Director General of the Environmental Management Authority can confirm this, and I am happy to give him the floor. Please, DDG Faustin, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Claudia, for giving me the floor. Excellency Massimiliano Mazzanti, Ambassador of Italy in Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi, Chairman of Private Sector Federation in Rwanda, President of the Italian Association for Bioplastic, Global Green Growth Institute country representative. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation for your engagement and availability for being with us in this third business-to-business webinar to discuss and exchange on available opportunities for private sector to enhance green growth and sustainable development in Rwanda and Italy. Excellent Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you all to this important event, which come to right time when countries are struggling for economic recovery after COVID-19 situation. For sustainability, we do not have choice other than green recovery. This webinar is the third on its kind organized since June 2020. I would like to thank Mrs. Claudia Beretta and Triple J team, Africa and Afari magazine, and Rema team for organizing and hosting such webinars. Allow me to remind that those webinars are organized in the framework of a 5-year MOU signed in 2016 between the Italian Ministry of Environment, Land and Sea, and Rwandan Ministry of Environment to coordinate efforts to combat global climate change and address its adverse effects to support mechanisms to reduce climate change vulnerability and stimulate the transition towards a sustainable low carbon economy. Excellent Ambassador, On behalf of the government of Rwanda, on behalf of REMA management, I take this opportunity to thank the government of Italy for the support provided and express my solemn appreciation to the achievements attained under this cooperation so far, and call for joint dialogue on the way forward as this MOU is due to end next year in 2021. In May 2020, Rwanda has submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change its Enhanced Climate Action Plan, known as National Determined Contribution. This is to affirm the commitment of our country to walk the talk. This ambitious climate action plan features a 38% reduction of greenhouse gases emissions compared to business as usual by 2030. The implementation of Rwanda NDC will require the effort of everyone, and we want private sector taking great part as the main driver of the economy. In the bid of facilitating this, REMA and Private Sector Federation has signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, which was officiated yesterday to strengthen the cooperation between Private Sector Federation members and REMA as the government agency in charge of environment protection and climate change. The main objective of the MOU is to create a conducive environment and strengthen the cooperation between private operators so that they can easily embrace the green growth. The ultimate objective of those webinars, this is the third one, is to raise awareness on market expectations in light of green growth, enabling participants to share their knowledge in doing business in Rwanda, highlighting challenges, risks, and opportunities, and create business platforms and matching among private companies in both countries and in relevant areas of intervention, as also highlighted by His Excellency Ambassador. This is the main objective of those webinars. Allow me to reiterate the engagement of Rwanda in creating favorable conditions to attract green foreign investments and supporting local industries and SMEs through incentives for the adoption of environmentally sound technologies and clean production and consumption models of development. This is crucial to foster a sustainable economic growth and open the path to international investors, delivering at the same time on the commitment under our national determined contribution on Paris Agreement. In Rwanda, those are already many there are already many opportunities for green investment, and the implementation of enhanced NDC will also create new ones. Example, in Rwanda, electricity currently covers 53% of the household as of October 2019, including 38% connected to the national grid and 15% access through off-grid system. The target is to reach the entire population by 2024, with 48% of households reached by off-grid electricity and 52% by the grid, opening the path to new potential investment in green technology. As you can see, from 53% 3% up to 100% by 2024, there are plenty of opportunities to invest in. In addition to the investment opportunity in renewable energy, there are also investment opportunity in clean cooking. Rwanda Biomass Energy Strategy of 2030 promotes a sustainable path to cleaning cooking with the target of reducing biomass use from 83% to 42% in 2024. This is also another opportunity of investment. Rwanda has banned plastic bags and single-use plastic bottles. This is an opportunity for investors to produce alternative packaging materials and recycling for plastic. Those are a few examples of available green investment opportunities, but there are many, and I invite Rwandan and Italian investors to make use of this cooperation and explore more other opportunities where they can invest. I would like to express my appreciation to the Italian Ministry of the Environment, Land and Sea, and GI for their commitment in promoting green growth activities and knowledge sharing and enhance private sector engagement in Rwanda. To close my remarks, I wish to all participants a fruitful discussion and invite businessmen and women following this webinar in both countries to make use of this opportunity and network to explore where they can set up joint venture or partnership. We are looking forward to welcoming our Italian friends investors in Rwanda in the near future. Murakoze cyane. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Claudia. I think we have the projection of a video.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, DDG Faustin, Murakoze cyane. Yes, we have a nice short video that was the latest one produced by Rwanda. And yeah, so just to have a nice break, please.
I know these last few months have been challenging for all of us, and we're delighted and excited that Rwanda is open now. We've put in place all the necessary measures for health and your safety to ensure tourists have a seamless experience. The tourism industry has a message for you. Yes, you. We would like to challenge you to try something you haven't done before or even in a while. Like me, riding a horse. His name is Zoro. Abamusanze, muraho.
Yego turaho murakaza neza muri Musanze ingagi zarababuze murakaza neza muri parake y'Ibirunga aho muri Nyungwe biragira ine
turaho. Take a hike across the forest and experience the adrenaline from this country. Nshuti zanjye zo mu Kagera muraho.
turaho abanyarwanda. See what's behind me? That relaxing boat ride, bird watching, a game drive experience of Big Five at Akagera Park awaits you. Karibu.
We would like to encourage you to explore your beautiful country and experience the many special promotions we have in store.
Did you know there is a wildlife sanctuary here in Kigali with over 70 endangered grey crown cranes in Isangi? Come experience fun and educational activities for the whole family here at Isangi Village.
That holiday and honeymoon that you set aside, take it now. You won't regret it.
A weekend getaway from the hustle and bustle.
These breathtaking views from the Twin Lakes await you.
How about hiking in the mountains and cycling with Team Rwanda? Will you join me?
Even in that city ever thought of a staycation, that small bed and breakfast will always take care of you.
For all the food lovers, nyama choma, isambaza, amabrochette, byose turabifite. Local and international delicacies in abundance. Murakaza neza.
J'espère qu'on vous aura donné envie de découvrir le pays. Tutembere igihugu cyacu.
We are here, Tembere Rwanda.
Nous sommes là, Tembere Rwanda.
Turahari, Tembere Rwanda.
We are here, visit Rwanda.
Tembere Rwanda.
Tembere Rwanda.
Visit Rwanda.
Tembere Rwanda.
Tembere Rwanda.
Tembere Rwanda.
Visit Rwanda.
Well, great. Rwanda is open. Claudia, Rwanda is open, and I would like to go to Musanze and to Musambi village at some point. So
yes, and if you want to know more about Rwanda, you just ask me, because I know the country quite well, not as a Rwandese, but I'm trying, and I'm really happy to give you any information you would like to have. I'm very happy now to give the floor to Robert Bafakurera, who is the chairman of the Private Sector Federation, the Rwandan Confindustria, here in Rwanda. Please, Chairman, you have the floor.
okay, Mr. Bafakurera, you have to switch on your video mic.
Hello.
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 Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Can you switch on your video as well?
Sorry, 1 minute.
All right. No. All right.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Please.
My sound, I'm working on phone. The sound is not coming up very well. You may not continue to see me on the video because I will hold it on my ear. So I'm sorry for that.
Now we can hear you very well, so please go on.
Yes, I thank you very much for inviting me on this webinar. It is my first time. You mentioned that there are 2 more before, but this is my first time to attend on this webinar. I've heard everything talked, and it's very impressive, the relationship between Italy private sector and the Rwanda private sector. The first speaker mentioned a lot about the Rwanda concerning the different things which have been done as a measure to protect the environment. I would start from his last remark that Rwanda is doing well. What is lacking is expertise and technology. Indeed, Rwanda government has created a very good environment for business. We who are in Rwanda are enjoying the environment, and Rwanda is open for business. Whatever is mentioned in the green part as opportunities are indeed available. But of course, Rwandese, many of Rwandese are small in terms of having enough expertise and technology and also capital. However, in the private sector, we are working very hard to make sure we grow our members in terms of capacity and to working very hard to do the partnership with other people like Italian people and other developed countries to make sure we can also go to the level of getting the technology and the expertise. But what is required, what I would mention is that Rwanda is open to businesses. What has happened a few years, regional banks have opened in Rwanda, and the Rwandan banks are also growing. We have like 2 banks here in the stock market, which is an indication of a good performance. A few years ago, we couldn't get money for projects in Rwanda, for big projects. But today, Rwandan banks can be able to finance big projects up to more than 40 million US dollars, one bank. Today, because of the region, East Africa, we have a big market for products from the region. This is also another good thing in this region, whereby East Africa is open to businesses in 5 countries. So our counterpart in Italy, I've not seen a lot of investment from Italy, but I'm calling upon for private sector from Italy to invest in Rwanda. Rwanda is indeed a very good country in the region, as mentioned before, where you can put your capital. Rwandese, as I told you, are friendly and ready to run and ready even to pattern. So I would call upon, as the chairman of private sector of Rwanda, I'm advocating for partnership. Also, I'm advocating for big companies in Rwanda. What we are doing today, we are encouraging our people in Rwanda to put together the capital to do partnership themselves, what we have called collective investment initiatives. This is working successfully, and we are hoping that in a few years to come, we shall be able to have big companies which are viable and which can partner with the rest of the world. And in that way, we shall be able to have different industries. When I come to the environment, we are working closely with our Ministry of Environment and LEMA to make sure that whatever is taken as a measure to protect the environment, our private sector takes it as an opportunity and make sure they carry on alternative way of doing things, which is encouraged to protect the environment. Examples. The one good thing in Rwanda, private sector is working closely with government. Wherever there is a gap, we discuss one way or another. We do a partnership with government, or we do it ourselves, or we do it with other partners from other countries. I'm happy today to be on this webinar where we are meeting our counterpart in Italy, and I'm looking forward working together, planning together, and doing business together, either in Rwanda, even in Italy. So I thank you very much to have invited me on this webinar, and I'm looking forward for more in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert Bapaculera. You can go on with our program. I just remind you that there is also a B2B session, and if there is already a program, but if you want to try to arrange a meeting, you can write a message to Massimo Zaurini or my colleague Serena Adler. Please, Claudia.
Thank you, Gianfranco.
Thank you, Gianfranco, and thank you very much, Chairman. I think you were very convincing, and I really appreciate your speech, because being here in Rwanda since 2 years, I really realize every day how there are so many aspects that encourage and could encourage investors to come to Rwanda. I can mention just one, the good business climate. The Rwanda is the second country in Africa for ease of doing business, or is one of the best in the world for transparency. And I stop here because I really could go on talking about this country. But I want to go now to something more technical, even if we have a very high level speaker from Italy, and I'm very happy to have him with us, is Marco Versari. He's the president of the Italian Association for Bioplastic, who will give us, now we go in the sector, in more technical sector about plastic, and will give us his point of view, and will present the model and the approach of Italy in doing with plastic. Thank you, President. You have the floor.
Good morning to everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, you can hear very well. Please.
Perfect. Thank you so much to invite me and to present the activity of Assobioplastic and to give our view regarding the use of biodegradable and compostable plastic. I have a presentation I try to share with you. So do you see it? Do you see the presentation?
No, we can't see it.
The host has, you have to habilitate to share the presentation.
I have to.
Yes, let me help you. Just one second. Yeah, it's true. Okay, you are co-host now. You should share your screen. Let's try now.
Okay, I try again. Do you see it?
Is sharing? Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I have the index. There are 3 parts. So a very fast presentation of the association. Some is important to share also the glossary. So what do you mean with some terms? And then a focus on the legislation in Italy, also in Europe, and then to explain how we have developed our action as companies and market in Italy. So a very fast presentation of Novamont. Novamont was founded in 2011. Now the association has more than 50 members, and we are representing the entire value chain, from the base chemicals manufacturer, resin producer, resin, of course, biodegradable and compostable resin producer, converters, compounders, distributors, and also the end of the part of the value chain. So the plants which are treating the organic waste together with the compostable plastic, so the anaerobic digestion and the composting plant. And also we have members in the academia. So the mission of Assobioplastic is to promote the knowledge, the production and the use of compostable plastic. We are also one of our main activities to disseminate good practices like separate collection of food waste. Of course, our focus in the organic fraction collection, and also information to citizens. It's important to, give information to citizens what biodegradable plastic are, how they are to be used. And then we are also organize research and development programs, and we make annual reporting. So the value chain in Italy represent more than 200, represented by more than 200 companies with more than 2,000 employees, and the rough turnover of the system in Italy is 0.8 more or less billion euro. The annual capacity of Italy in terms of biodegradable composting plants is around 100,000 tons per year. Here, Italy represents more or less the 50% of the production of biodegradable and compostable plastic in Europe. This is important to share some terminology. What biodegradability means, what compostability means, what renewability means. So biodegradability very rapidly is the ability of a material to be degraded by microorganisms. in very simple words. Compostability is the ability of organic material to be recycled organically. Then I go in deep after. And renewability is related to the origin of a material. So the feedstock used to make a material like wood, cellulose, starch, vegetable or animal byproducts. So a material is biodegradable if it is able to undergoes in a biodegradation, so transform the material in CO2 and water, but there is a limit in this definition. There are no information regarding where the biodegradation happens, and there are no information about the time frame. So everything is biodegradable in ages, in centuries. But for us, this is not important. For us, biodegradation is related to composting. So a material is biodegradable in composting when it's compatible with the food waste management. And there is clear standards and norms at European level. I don't want to bore you, then we can share the presentation, but there is harmonized standard on biodegradation in composting. And the standard, the main standard is the EN 13432 that defines the characteristic of biodegradability under composting condition. That is, do not study simply the time frame of biodegradation, but is a pass-fail system on 4 main characteristics: disintegrability in a time, compostability in a time in comparison with cellulose. So the biodegradation of compostable material is done in comparison with the cellulose. And there is also a study that the material has to demonstrate there are no negative effect in the composting process in terms of pH, in terms of heavy metal regarding to the soil and so on. Then I know that my time is not so long, so I want to explain our approach with biodegradable plastic in the market. So there is a lot of organic matter that is can be converted in compost. Compost is a soil improver. Of course, this is related to Europe. We are doing agriculture since 25th century in Europe, and one of the main problems in Europe is desertification, how to preserve, to maintain soil fertility. And the more clever way to maintain soil fertility is to close the carbon loop. The carbon present in the food scraps that has to be converted in a fertilizer through composting. This is what we are doing. So the separate collection of food scraps in order to close the loop of carbon, not to lose carbon in landfill, not to destroy fertility in incinerator plant, but to make soil improver. And to do it is important to make a good separate collection of the food scraps. And the main polluter of the food scraps are plastic residue. And this is the Italian system. So we have developed a strict connection of compostable material, mainly bags and carrier bags, with food collection scraps. And starting with the separate collection of the bags, we have developed many other application related to the food collection schemes. So the first part are the beans with biodegradable bags, then carrier bags, that compostable carrier bags that can be reused in the separate collection of food waste. Then when there is a separate collection established in the territory, we can add other application like plates, bowls, cutlery. So an entire category of single-use product that can be collected together with food scraps and composted. Then the last category that is increasing in use at European level, at least at Italian level, is the food packaging and the coffee caps. As a final application, is important also to underline application in agriculture, like mulch film. In this case, the solution to the problem is related to the pieces of polyethylene that if we use a standard polyethylene-based mulch film can remain in the soil and can be, how to say, accumulate in year by year. The sense of the use of a biodegradable in soil mulch film is that at the end of the crop, the rest of the mulch film can be broken in pieces, incorporated in the soil where the biodegradable material finishes its cycle. So this is a list of legislation in Italy. We started with the separate collection of food waste. The legislation permitted to use no bags, but if we use bags, the bags are biodegradable and compostable. Then we have legislation on green public procurement related to cutlery, and the cutlery has to be compostable where there is the separate collection of food scraps and are not available washing machines. Then, of course, we have a legislation on carrier bags since 2017. The bags has to be reusable with specific thicknesses and shapes. If not, are to be compostable, biodegradable and compostable, and can be reused in the separate collection. So this is the norm. So the Italian legislation banned single-use PE polyethylene carrier bags, but are permitted compostable one. The same for fruit and vegetable bags. Polyethylene based are banned and are permitted compostable with higher and higher percentage of renewability. In this case, the material, the bag has to be not only biodegradable and compostable, but also renewable. I'm going to end my presentation. There are many European countries taking action on bags and fruit and vegetable bags. This is the list on the left side, but there is an action at global level on carrier bag, and also many countries in Africa are taking action. So this is there is an increasing awareness on leakage of plastic residue in the environment, and this reason of because there is a so high attention at a global level on which kind of material we can use to make a single-use product, and biodegradable and compostable plastic can be part of the solution. Let me close. This is the list of European action on plastic, but I think Claudia, that I have to go to finish my presentation. So let me and then I'll be happy to answer to question if needed. Let me close with a final remark. This is very important for us. The action of our industry is related to solve a problem related to waste management. So biodegradable and compostable plastic are a tool to make efficient the collection and the treatment of organic scraps in order to produce fertilizers, not to put plastic into the soil. Many times, biodegradability and compostability are considered a solution for litter. So litter is related to human behavior, is related to bad action of citizen. So we can accept the discussion on biodegradability and compostability as a tool for eco-design. So how we have to make a product in the future, or as a risk assessment. But we cannot think to solve the problem of litter simply to make biodegradable, to use biodegradability, because at the end of the story, the message could be, I use biodegradability as a message to throw product in the environment. We have not to throw anything in the environment. But in any case, biodegradability and compostability can be part of the solution, but not the solution. The solution is awareness, is participation of citizens, is attention to environment, and of course, clear legislation. And I'm very happy to see how Rwanda is so aware of this issue, and we are, how to say, at your disposal to, how to say, to help giving information and put in contact with our industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, President Marco Versari, President of the Italian Association of Bioplastic. Please stop sharing your video. Thank you very much.
It's okay?
Yes, now it's okay.
Perfect. I switched off my microphone.
Now, Claudia, we have...
Yes, President Versari, I feel sorry that we had to limit it. We have such a short time because it's so interesting. And I'm sure you would be very welcome in Rwanda to elaborate on this, because Rwanda is hungry about this, about to know more about plastic, and their engagement is very strong. I want to give the floor briefly to our ambassador from Massimiliano Mazzanti, because he has to leave us for another engagement. So please, Ambassador.
Thank you, Claudia. I didn't want to miss President Versari's presentation. I must say that was targeted, concrete, and that's exactly what we need in a partnership, an important partnership in perspective with Rwanda. So thank you, President. Thank you, Massimo, as usual, of course, to my friend Gianfranco and Massimo, and to Claudia. But with Claudia, we will be in contact even more. I wish to, of course, I'm sorry that I have to leave now. I'm meeting the Minister of Karamojo in a few minutes. But I wish all participants actually not only to follow, but to continue, because these are the kind of webinars that actually bring opportunities in the direction that Rwanda wants, with Italian business capacity and innovation capacity. So thank you, everybody. I hope you will continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think now we have Samson Turingire, Chemicals and Pollution Officer of the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority. Claudia? Yeah.
I think, yes, I was cut for 30 seconds. I'm back. Yes, I don't know if you said already, Gianfranco, yes, that the presentation from the Chairman Versari will be available if you...
Yes, yes, all the presentation will be shared with all the participants afterwards, yes. So don't worry about it.
Good. So I will now go to the Rwandan side, and I would really keen to to listen what is the Rwandan answer to plastic ban and what is Rwanda doing in this regard. So I give the floor to Samson Twiringire, who is the Chemical and Pollution Officer in the Environmental Management Authority here in Rwanda. Please, Samson, you have the floor. And I think you also have a presentation.
Thank you, Claudia. Do you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I asked to be allowed to share my screen. I'm not allowed to share my screen. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Okay, yes. Okay, I can share the slide if you prefer, as you want.
Share the slide, Massimo, please.
Okay.
Do you want me to share my slides so that you...
Oh, we have already. Okay. Okay, we have your slide on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Excellence Ambassador, Excellence participants, all protocol observed. So I'm happy to be with you to talk about the experience of Rwanda in terms of plastic ban. So some of presenters, the speakers have talked about some things that we did as Rwanda. Excellence Ambassador talked about the law enacted in 2008. So now that law has been amended and is replaced by the law of 2019, the law number 17/2019. So this law is related to the prohibition of manufacturing, importation, use, and sale of plastic carry bag and single-use plastics. So the presenter about bioplastics talked about great things, compostable, biodegradability, and everything. All of those things can be made, can be sold here in Rwanda. But as the definition, I wanted to highlight this kind of oxo-degradable plastics, because you see in our law we have a single-use plastics item, which are disposable plastics items designed to be used once. But in some years back, we have some investors bringing in the country the oxo-degradable plastics. They may be called oxo-biodegradable, photodegradable, and everything. But know that this kind of plastics are classified as single-use plastics items by this law we are talking about. So we prohibit single-use plastic item and plastic carry bags. Carry bags, there are these things with low density to be used simply, we can say, for shopping. However, I said this what the speaker talked about. However, manufacturing and importation or the business with compostable plastic items or even polypropylene is allowed subject to prior authorization from the competent authority, which is REMA. So this is one of the opportunity, or maybe one of the items that investors may look in to invest in here in Rwanda. Next slide. Next slide. So this law gives some exemption or authorization. This comes from the fact that some items, I mean, some merchandise here in Rwanda don't have their packaging material, and they need to be packaged in a way that prevent link leaks, present some damages, or maybe by standards they must be packaged in a kind of items that prevent those leakage. So an investor, a businessman or a businesswoman seeks for authorization from REMA, and there are some conditions to be given that authorization. And when the request meets those conditions, the authorization is issued to them, and they bring such plastics. Next. This law talks about, again, about collection, recycling, and inspection of plastic carry bags and single-use plastics. For the purpose of this webinar, I'm talking about this collection and recycling. So this is also another kind of opportunity. So every manufacturer, wholesaler, or retailer of plastic carry bags is obliged to put a mechanism to collect and segregate used plastic carry bags. So in the challenges will come again on these things, but be notified that recycling is also another area that businessmen, investors can put their money and help Rwanda, help the government of Rwanda to tackle this kind of plastic waste. So the other article, sorry, next slide. So these are administrative sanctions. I want to talk about it very deeply. Just know that this law provides for some administrative sanctions from 10 million Rwandan franc. It's about 1,000 US dollar for manufacturer. So importer, it is 10 times the value of the imported plastics. Wholesaler 700,000 Rwandan franc is almost 700,000 US dollar, and retailer 300,000 Rwandan francs. So these are administrative sanctions. I don't want to put much time to this slide. Next. Now let's talk about challenges. So again, you have many. There are challenges. There are not so many, but they are much than what I wrote here. I selected some challenges. Relevant to this webinar. So the first challenge and the lack of alternative packaging material to many types of items. Items in terms of packaging material, but also items in terms of merchandises. So investors, local investors, mainly retailers, we find that what you have, there are types of packaging. As I said, for the exemption authorization, there are some merchandise that needs special packaging so that they don't be damaged from different environment. So there are some merchandise that have not suitable packaging material, and they are still wanting to seek for exemption authorization to import plastics which are prohibited. So as we are talking about these challenges, if I go in parallel with the opportunities, you see that if Italian investors come and use their innovative skills to find or to manufacture some maybe compostable or plastics, replace or maybe to afford this kind of merchandise, that will be a good opportunity, and that will be a win-win situation for government of Rwanda, for investors, and also for our environment, because we will be preventing the additional import of prohibited plastic, because this exceptional authorization is about the prohibited plastics, but which is allowed because there is no other suitable alternative to to the items. So limited technological capacity to recycle most of the types of plastic and plastic waste. Here, I want to highlight that in general, what we have here as recyclers, they are normally able to recycle polyethylene. So for the other types of plastics, they are not quite equipped to recycle them. There are some who have started to recycle other types of plastics than polyethylenes, but they are at the embryonic stage. There is there are some people, some investors who started to look into recycling PET, but still it is still at the embryonic stage. There are still, doing their feasibility and whatever. So if maybe Italian investors come in, maybe to come and work together with those local investors, maybe. Anyway, I don't want it to specify how, but I want to just highlight that there is that opportunity. Another challenge is about the collection scheme. So I'm happy to be one of the beneficiary of this MOU. I went to Bologna for waste management, for the cluster of waste management. So we visited some 2 or 3 areas where we witnessed how the collection of plastic was being done. It was maybe at an advanced level because it is well mechanized. Almost all work is done by machines. But as His Excellency Ambassador, the Deputy Director General said, Rwanda can also do it, maybe step by step. But as we have been doing, we can just plan by step and to have that destination. So I think this sector of collection, especially separation at source, to have an adequate, a strong collection separation mechanism, separation schemes, so that all plastics coming from homes, from commercial sites, get to recycling sites clean, because one of the problem for recycling is the water used for cleaning the plastics. So I think this is also another area to put money to look into. So other challenge is just enforcement related challenges. Here I want to say this is mainly for us who are enforcing this law, and I don't want to go deeper. These challenges related to fraud, counterfeit, this kind of we know regionally we have this agreement of free movement of persons and goods.
Samson, please, if you can go to conclusion, because
yes,
we don't have
I'm
much
going
time.
to conclude
And also,
yes.
I remind that is a working group on plastic just after the webinar from 12 o'clock, where if you are most than welcome to then stay and elaborate more if you are available. Thank you.
So the next slide is about opportunities, and I wanted to combine, as I said, challenges and opportunities. Which, I mean, what is here in opportunities? I've already said it. That is how I wanted it to present. So opportunities, we skip it. I said everything here in opportunities when I was exposing about challenges. So ladies and gentlemen, this was my presentation. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Samson. Very interesting your slide on challenges. I can see very much room for cooperation between Italy and Rwanda in many fields. So let's go on. While we have our B2B, which are already in place. So if you have any questions for B2B, I ask to send a message to Massimo Zaurini or Serena Adler. Now we have Alain Dorichusa. Claudia, yes?
Yes, Alain Dorichusa is a climate finance specialist. So he works in the Rwanda Green Fund, which is the Rwandan green mechanism belonging part of the Ministry of Environment. And he will present us the opportunities of development for the green private sector in Rwanda.
Okay.
Alain, please.
Please, Alain, switch on your mic. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Please just try to limit your interventions. Unfortunately, we have to be quite strict. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Claudia. Thank you, everyone. I'm Ala. So I want to introduce myself. Claudia did a better job on that. So yes, I'll try to be brief. Basically, because my colleagues DDG Foster and Samson and other colleagues have already introduced about the opportunities, but maybe what I will highlight is when you look at Rwanda as a developing country, so when you look at Rwanda as a developing country, you realize that most of what Rwanda is doing, the private sector is very key and central to development, for the economic development. But there is an additional component in terms of having the climate resilience in whatever is being done. So this is another opportunity, because anyway, the private sector is very much needed for Rwanda to develop, but also looking at innovation, technology, and everything around infrastructure. There is that opportunity to kind of build climate resilience around every pathway of those. So I also mentioned we have already Vision 2020, which identified private sector as central to the common economic development. But also when you look at in 2011, the Green Growth and Climate Resilience Strategy kind of highlighted that we have program of actions which can be a starting point for any private investor to look at when you look at 14 program of action, ranking from different development sectors, whether it's agriculture, transport, energy, tourism, or the ecotourism opportunities. In transport, there is electric mobility, which is now hitting the ground, and we already have some e-motors, but also exploring e-buses, but also other e-vehicles, which comes along with the opportunity for the charging infrastructures, but also all type of infrastructure that go around that transport sector when you look at the e-mobility. there is also a key opportunity when you kind of look at the type of urbanization, considering Rwanda is one of the most dense countries in the world, especially in Africa. So there is that opportunity for urbanization, but how we go about it is very key, and there is room for the private sector to play that role in terms of we have already some green minimum green building system. So and when you look at the urbanization and housing sector, you find out that there is the opportunity to, in terms of low carbon materials that can be used, but also in terms of construction, the designs and everything around that. But also a third component of that would be the affordability, which brings about the financial sector. So, and another opportunity maybe I could highlight is the financial sectors I just ended on. Already the Rwanda Green Fund is looking into ways to create an ecosystem-based incubation and accelerator facilities. Well, it's not just an incubation, but it's more like bringing together different players to kind of contribute to supporting the private sector, which the green business in Rwanda is still not really well matured in terms of the scale. So there is that opportunity. There is also an opportunity around we're also exploring the green bonds, which also would bring opportunities from private businesses in Italy and from other countries to look at. But also in terms of the mining sector, which is very destructive of the natural resources, there is that opportunity to see how it can be transitioned into climate model mining, which is still some work in progress, and again, an opportunity in that space. And I can also mention Rwanda being part of a regional economic bloc, like the East African, but also the Africa Free Trade Area. So I see really this as an opportunity, and the doing business ranking, which Rwanda is among the top, you can really you can see that opportunity to use the flexibility and facilities around opening businesses in Rwanda, but also the policy advancement in terms of environment and climate change for businesses to come in and focus on the green aspect of business development. So I'm trying to look at it in different scenario and in different perspectives, and whether it's on the business side of it, but also on the environment and climate change side of it, the breeding the climate resilience. There are advancements that in Rwanda that really welcome the private sector development around them in general. And I will also mention looking ahead, Rwanda wanting to be a middle income countries and all the opportunities that come along, but with that key emphasis again, which I'm still repeating, but around the building the resilience in terms of climate, in terms of how we exploit the ecosystem services and natural resources, and also something maybe very key in general is the industries, how we green the industries, how we transition. You mentioned the plastic, the ban on the plastic bags, but there's a lot more in terms of the construction material that are being removed, or the PVC or any other different materials that are being banned in Rwanda. So there is that opportunity for the private sector to come with some green technologies to really transform our development. And definitely from the Rwanda Green Fund standpoint and other international platforms, there is the opportunity in terms of climate finance. So we are positioned to be able to attract the climate finance, but it's more like the private sector has to be ready for it. So there's that room to bring in the capacity and also knowledge transfer to really strengthen the existing businesses in Rwanda, the green businesses, and to position ourselves to attract even more climate finance in Rwanda for a more sustainable development. So I will stop there to have time for others also to complement, and thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to share more as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Alain. Thank you, Alain. Very interesting about affordability and sustainability for the housing sector. I think is another sector which can be a place of partnership between Italian and Rwandan companies. Now, I think, Claudia, we have Roland Ruhumuriza, Area Manager for Africa, De Lorenzo.
Yes, Roland Rumuriza is the area manager Africa from the company De Lorenzo, who is very active in Africa in all what concern skills development. So now we'll go to another subject, which is an horizontal subject, very, very important. And he will talk about what they do in skills development, vocational training. And I'm particularly happy to welcome Roland because he works in Italy for an Italian company, but he's from Rwanda. So please, Roland, you have the floor.
Roland, 10 minutes, no more, please.
Yes, I'll do my best to ensure that I stick to the time. Feel free to cut me off anytime also, no problem. And Claudia, thank you very much for the opportunity and the invitation, and also to Info Africa for having together with you organizing this event, which is very, very insightful. And I'm also proud to say that I participated in the first 2 events just to listen. And the more we continue to talk about the Global Green Growth Institute and the different initiatives, as well as the Strategy 2030, the more important it actually becomes to consider as well the importance of developing the relevant human capital in the sense that developing the relevant skills that are going to be needed to continue in working towards the 2030 strategy, but also beyond. Because here we're talking about sustainability, and the sustainability in this case is actually driven by people. So if I may also, in that case, just to talk more about De Lorenzo, I will share my screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, you can see it. You can see it. You can go on.
Let me just do the full screen view. So just as an introduction, De Lorenzo is an Italian company that's specialized in manufacturing and supplying technical and vocational training equipment. So we've been existing since 1951, and we work over the world in different countries of the world, with our headquarters here in Italy, but also we have different offices, be it in Mexico, Brazil, and the US. And we cover, as I mentioned, all the different continents. Myself specifically, I'm in charge of following the different African countries and the different projects that we work in. And the idea in this case, what I wanted to point out is also our mission. So we believe that we're on a mission to actually developing relevant technical and vocational skills, skills worldwide. And this mission actually then is a mission that we want to ensure that we work towards sustainably. Yes, we have a vision to be a leading manufacturer and a leading supplier of all the different technical and vocational skills. But more than ever, we strongly believe that we need and we are working towards the development of all the different skills that can be sustainable. So at the heart of our core values are, again, people. There's people, there's sustainability, there's teamwork, but also this concept that we call age, which ensures that, for example, skills training should be accessible for everyone, should be green and equal, to ensure that nobody is, in that case, left behind. Just as another slide, just a bit about the company again. So we do manufacture all the different equipment, and here we're talking about hardware, and we do all the logistics, but we also focus again on the training of trainers, in the sense of sharing this knowledge, transferring this knowledge, to ensure that wherever we go to work in, whichever country, we also can ascertain that the teachers or the trainers themselves locally will have the capacity to continue to train others. Again, working on sustainability. So we have different solutions, training in different areas. Today we'll be focusing mainly on renewable energies and food processing, but we also have a solution trained in automation, for example, Industry 4.0, electronics, electric machines, telecommunication, automotive or autotronics, which looks like the electronic components in vehicles. We look at thermotronics, heating and cooling. So in other words, so many different fields in technical and vocational sectors. And here we're talking about, again, developing practical hands-on skills. Before going into the main messages that I wanted to share, let me just also highlight some experiences we have had in the recent past in Africa, where we continue to see an increased trend in focusing on technical and vocational education. So empowering, again, the different TVET centers, TVET institutions, be it at the secondary level all the way to university level, tertiary level. And another interesting, let's say, concentration on developing renewable energy skills. So be it through smart grid technologies, energy efficiency, or wind power plant, as the case in Uganda, where we have been working with different institutions in Uganda to actually develop those skills as well. Another example is in Kenya, where at the moment we're just finishing actually the installation of various renewable energy laboratories. This is one in Sigalagala, in Kenya, that we have just finished. And there's another one that we're working on at the moment. Another example is also in Zanzibar, where recently, this was actually just last week, that we managed to get our engineer from Rwanda to finally travel to Zanzibar to go and install this laboratory on renewable energy. So again, this is a continued trend we're seeing across different African countries, and where we have, as an example, like still other ongoing projects. Currently in Rwanda, we're also just signing a contract with the University of Rwanda, with the College of Science and Technology, that will be where we will be installing an energy efficiency laboratory, which looks at, again, the combination of all the different sources of energy to try and understand how to best manage them effectively. So now on the side, or the importance again of the skills, developing the skills for the green economy. Why are we developing these skills? One, it's we're seeing that the global population is increasing. Again, it's providing a lot of business opportunities, but also these business opportunities and the increased global population, which again means that nonetheless the Earth is still the same physically, is also causing a lot of environmental pressures. And in this case, all these environmental pressures, if left unaddressed, could undermine our ability to seize all of these other opportunities we see, thanks to either the growing population, the growing middle income, the growing wealth in that case. So it's important then to ensure that we develop the relevant skills that will come to help us actually make the most of these opportunities. Specifically on renewable energies. So we know that energy efficiency and renewable energy are the two main vectors and drivers that determine the most evident opportunities to address sustainability in the energy sector. These two areas are intrinsically linked and need to be addressed together. Therefore, reducing consumption by being more efficient paves the way for more effective uses of renewable energy sources. In other words, the beneficial impact of renewable energy generation is increased by means of a lower consumption baseline, meaning we need to look at, yes, how to produce as much energy as possible, but how to also be able to manage it efficiently. So in that case, it's therefore paramount that—
Roland, please, I have to ask you to go to conclusion, please, Roland.
Ah, okay, no problem. But that's, so we have different solutions in renewable energies, and we're talking also about food processing. And just on here, I'll only take 10 seconds to talk about the fact that when we're talking about food processing, we're looking also about value addition and to reduce wastage and to ensure that we can maximize as much as possible on all the efforts that go in. Majority of the produces are seasonal, but if we can also, with the combination of new technologies, produce actually effectively and continue to add value, it will also be able to be sustainable long term. I'll go to the conclusion and just highlight the fact that technical and vocational education and training has and will continue to have a great contribution in instigating a mind change. And this mind change will help generate a new generation of workers and entrepreneurs that adhere to the principle of sustainable development. So it's important that when, in this case, we're talking about the green economy, we consider to really develop the relevant skills that continue and will be the ones that will contribute. And I'm very proud to say that, again, as we're talking about Rwanda, is one of the best countries and actually one of the first that has put a great emphasis regionally and also internationally on developing relevant technical and vocational skills that will support all these other investments that different investors are coming to put in. So again, to all the different investors from Italy looking at investing in Rwanda, I'm proud to also say that I can testify as an Italian company that has been collaborating with different institutions in Rwanda to develop relevant skills that when you go to invest, you will find the relevant skills that will provide you the right labor force. So on that note, thank you once more, and sorry for taking longer than planned.
Thank you, Roland. Claudia?
Yes, Roland, thank you so much. It was very interesting. A lot of potentialities here in Rwanda, definitely. And it was also good to listen from your perspective as a Rwandan and as an Italian-based citizen. So this was very interesting. We go now to Janvier Gazazira. He's the managing director of Yak Fair Trade, and he wants to present his project design of an eco-lodge in East Rwanda, where I've been, in a very beautiful place. You can overview Tanzania from one side and Rwanda from the other side. It's beautiful. Janvier, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Claudia. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I'm going to make a presentation of one of the best beautiful place in Eastern Province. I may say it's the beautiful place in the world. Those who haven't yet had an opportunity to come and visit that place, you are most welcome to come and see that very beautiful place. Claudia, can you help me to put my presentation?
Massimo.
We ask Massimo to put the presentation on. Let me see. Sorry about that. Massimo, we have we need the presentation of Janvier.
Yes. The Eastern Province, let me continue to explain a little bit when we are still
Rocky Mountain Resort?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Just give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
So Janvier, please tell us about this place.
Here we are.
Okay. Yes, the place is Eastern Province, and that place there is a chain of hills coming from the Akagera National Park to that particular place, and that place is called Nasho. In that place, when you are on the top of the hill, you can see both sides. The Rwanda side with 4 lakes, and Tanzanian side 3 lakes, and the river Akagera passing through all those 7 lakes. It's very amazing, and I don't know if you can see the slide 2, the beautiful photo where you see the lake on side of Rwanda and the blue sky. This picture, I took it when I was on the top of the hill at Nasho. Hopefully you can see it. When I saw this beautiful place, and taking into consideration this place is in a proximity with Akagera National Park, then I say, okay, this is a very good opportunity to invest in and then propose a new product. You know, when you are visiting Akagera National Park, you just drive around in a car. It takes the whole day, but at this particular area, you don't drive your car. You move from your car, you walk out, or you can use your bike or motorbike and visit the place. Can you see the second slide? That's where the idea of putting there the Rocky Mountain Resort project came, and people may come and visit this particular area, and then we propose to see the biodiversity of this area. One of the biodiversity of this area, there are traditional trees, and which have been there for so many years, untouched, and they are going to remain protected. Most of those trees have been using to produce traditional medicines for a long time. And by the time we are going to develop this resort, we are not going to touch anything. We will try to maximize and keep the environment as it is, especially the trees and other species around there. The fourth slide, we have you have the view of the cottages, how the cottages will be looking like. The idea is to build with existing materials. There are so many stones there. That's the name of Rocky Mountain Resort is coming, because the mountain there is full of so many rocky and trees and lake and rivers. And then we are going to keep those beautiful of the nature there. You may ask what someone can come and see.
Janvier, please have to ask to be a little bit faster. Thank you.
I'm on the last but one slide. So the resort over there, and things to visit for tourists mainly. As I said, there are a number of lakes. People can do biking, can see different trees, birds. There is a story saying that there is one chameleon species which came from Cape Town up to that particular area, and there is a documentation and research done on that. If you want, there is a person who did that research called Dr. Harrod. He's working for the World Bank. He wrote a book on that chameleon which came from Cape Town up to Nasho. Before I conclude, the project is going to be on 50 hectares, already available, developed. We have already developed the study, the feasibility study is ready, the bill of quantities, the cost of whole project, which is around $3 million. And we are already committed to work on this exciting project with a willing partner who may come. If not, we keep working hard to make this dream a reality. The last thing I would like to tell about the beautiful of this area, this is a home of Imigongo art. Imigongo, it's a hangout which have been created in the 16th century by the king of Gisaka, who instructed all his citizens to put those Imigongo, those hangouts in their home, to make their home beautiful. So currently, Rwanda Development Board is developing the circuit, which starts from Kayonza up to Ngoma Kirehe. These are in the Eastern Province, to visit the home of Imigongo. And the home of Imigongo is near this site I'm talking about. And this will be part of the circuit to visit in a circuit under development between RDB and MasterCard Foundation. Thank you for your attention. I think I can stop here my presentation.
Thank you, Janvier. Thank you very much. Now from this fantastic project, we go to another project for a new made in Rwanda boutique hotel in Kigali, right, Claudia?
Yes, Florence Ubimana will present the project for a new future boutique hotel in Kigali. And just to say that Florence is Rwandan and Italian, so one more reason to be with us today. Florence, please.
Yes.
And you have
good morning.
And you have few minutes, Florence. I'm sorry.
Yes, I hope at least 5 minutes. Okay, so the slide. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am very glad to be here with you. Start my video. Yes, sorry, I didn't put my video. Yes, I'm very glad to be here with you and excited to attend to this business networking opportunity of Tea House Bed and Breakfast. So let's start from the Tea House Boutique Hotel will be an extension of Tea House Bed and Breakfast. So I will allow me to go back a little bit in order to introduce you a bit about Tea House Bed and Breakfast. Next. So the best way to describe the best way to describe a tea house bed and breakfast. Can you go to the third slide, please? The next one. Yes, the best way to describe us is through the 240 review that we have. Yes, stop here. That we have online. We received in 2017, 19, and 18 the review as one of the best bed and breakfast I am a fresh graduate from, yes, you can go to the next slide. Yes, as I said, I am a fresh graduate from Vatel, an international university for tourism and hospitality management. But I have more than 20 years of experience in this industry that I am strongly prioritized in this sector, in the hospitality and gastronomy yes, sector. Next. So why we started with tea house bed and breakfast? We started because we see some challenges in the market, especially a lack of high standard of service that is in some places that is due especially for unskilled and inexperienced staff and management. And the other challenge that we see is the traveler, as maybe you well know, even the business traveler is looking more and more for unforgettable places. So he needs something a little bit warm, not really the cold and anonymous and impersonal hotel. So next, the solution that we found is to give a customized 5-star service to our customer. And this is possible if you really understand your customer need, culture, and expectation. And you train your staff, because we are already expert in hotel management. And the second solution that we found is is to create a cozy and warm atmosphere, homestay, where where the traveler can feel welcomed. And this we used locally and locally styled and furniture that were promoting even the made in Rwanda, such as the imigongo, as he say, janvier, and so on. Next. So the service actually that we offer, it's a homestay experience. I don't like to say accommodation, a homestay experience, including a hearty breakfast and for lunch and dinner we have an in restaurant. Next. So why we decided to extend the tea house bed and breakfast is because, as you well know, RDB is putting a lot of effort in promoting the Rwanda as a touristic destination, and we have a growth in the tourism of 50%. Last year we hosted in Rwanda 1.66 million international arrival. Amongst these 1.6 million, there were 25% were from the business segment, and the last year tourism revenue was a $500 million, around 40, 80, so 500 million, and 25.
Florence, go to the project, please, Florence, because, yeah, thank you.
Yes. So the project, okay, thank you very much. So the project will be a tea house boutique hotel located in Kigali, 2 minutes far from the Kigali International Airport and from the Kigali Convention Center. It will be built. Why it is made in Rwanda? Because it will be furniture. All 80% of the furniture will be locally made, and even the design and so on. We will try to ban, as we said, to ban plastic material for amenities such as shampoo, and we'll use these glasses bulk for different kind of amenities. We will try to use to find alternative source of energy, such as solar panels. We will reuse the raining water and yes, the raining water, and yes. So the project, this is the revenue that we are the revenue for tea house bed and breakfast. Next, the revenue of sorry, next. So we can see when the revenue for the projection for the Tea House Boutique Hotel will be around 300 million per year in terms of rooms, plus other services that we will have, like a tea lounge that will promote the culture of tea. And so this is the budget that will be needed, a total budget of 500 USD. Yes, and these are the different steps that will go on for these three next year. Murakoze, grazie, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Florence.
Florence, thank you so much for, and sorry to make you rush so much, but the thing is that the B2B bilateral meetings are already going on, and there are 35 meetings that previously booked. So I will also go to to moderate another meeting. So I will give the floor to Daniel. Daniel is my colleague, is the deputy country representative of GGI, the Global Green Growth Institute, and Hini Chang could not be with us today, so he will just make few words for conclusion. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Claudia, and thank you everybody for participating. We appreciate your participation. Especially we are grateful to the ambassador, whom I understand is no longer in the meeting, but also most importantly our partners within REMA. Our ultimate goal and aim is to see and facilitate this project to reach a tangible effort where businesses can come together to support the growth of the country. So within the next section, I think where we'll be getting into the concrete discussions where you can ask your questions, get a little bit more detail of what is needed. So GGGI is very much appreciative of the effort, and we are very much open for continuous communication in regards to taking most of the ideas, projects that are presented forward to reach some concrete investments or developments in the coming months. So I should say thanks for everyone, and thanks Claudia and the Afari group for giving us the platform to organize this.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, I don't know if there are any questions. Now we have the B2B going on, so we have a few minutes for some questions if you have any. I can see from the chat room that some people are leaving messages, so that's great. And actually, I thank you also the Global Green Growth Institute and the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority to give us the opportunity to organize this meeting. And maybe Claudia, I don't know if you want to add something.
Thank you, Gianfranco. No, I was just saying that I probably disappear for the screen because I will go in the other room to with the plastic. We organize a small subgroup of plastic because the companies were there was a high number of plastic of companies involved in plastic that were interested in B2B. So we put them together, and I will go there to moderate. But there are other 35 meetings going on in the next hour, and I ask all the entrepreneurs who are part of this B2B to give us a feedback. So they will receive a survey, and I really appreciate if they can give us their opinion and their results and their follow-up, and if they can be in contact with us to for any further support and to follow their possible partnership. Yeah, so I think I can go now, and I thank you all. Thank you, Africa Fari, for your support. Thank you, Rema. Thank you, everybody, and my colleague in GGI.
Okay, so please, anyone who is waiting for the B2B, please you can stay here with me. I can answer